Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. And today's date, it's September 21st of 2023. And it is almost 1:15 p.m. I've gone back to my Spectrum, what the heck is this? Spectra Pro keyboard. Okay. I wonder if I have. When I was in Missouri, I got eventually where I had hay fever from pollen, and I don't know now. Seems like my nose runs a little bit all the time. I've gone back to this other keyboard, which I like. I got a bunch of keyboards I like. What else? I know there was something else. Oh. Google did a direct deposit in my bank of $100. Now, that's not from Amazon, clicks that you made on Amazon links or whatever. That's Amazon. This $100 has to be from people watching my videos and seeing some ads that pop up during it. I've never seen an ad because I pay for Google or pay for YouTube Prime, or I don't know what it's called, and I don't even know how much I pay. Not very much a month. That's the first time it's been, I think, in that range. In fact, it's been basically nothing. So that's a good sign, I think. Right now I'd be happy if I got $100 a month from YouTube, and then maybe next year, a little more or something. I'd be happy with that. But I'm not happy that I don't get anything for months. So maybe things have changed. I'm not sure. I switched back to my old keyboard. I've still got the light that sits up on top of the monitor that I can turn on if I need it, but it's just not good, I don't think. I like now I don't have this flashing or doing anything at all like that, the way some people do. I just got red letterings, And this keyboard is, it looks like a regular keyboard. There's some of these keyboards that, the B and the G and Q and things like that are altered a little bit. And I think I'm guessing the reason for that is then they, can make it up, and the keyboard can be, go to different countries, different languages or whatever, and maybe that saves them some money. Not sure. Come on, I had some news. What? Well, okay. Let's I've got to go in and look a little bit at um, OBS. Like to give you, so I can give you a full screen, view of me, because I know you're all dying to see me in living color, a full screen. I'm kidding, of course. I guess I'm not a good kidder, or else people think I'm pretty arrogant or whatever, because I say something and people don't know that I'm, joking. I that my stuff pops in my head, and I probably should have an automatic thing. Don't say anything. But something just popped in my head about teasing. Um, I got married at age 26. Darlene was 18. Um, then we got divorced after 12 years. And then Larry King, if you know Larry King, well, forget Larry King on television. Yuck. I'm 82, by the way. After a certain age, I don't think you should be allowed on television. Just too old. But so a lady was on the Larry King show and being interviewed. He did great interviews on the radio. And I didn't watch him on, CNN. Hardly ever, I don't think. And so I could be wrong. But my opinion, just flipping by or something, and that he wasn't, on radio, he was fantastic. And two, he would interview one person for, however long the show was or something. But he had a lady on there who wrote a book called, and I did a search for it, I couldn't find it, Classified Love. And it's about advertising, for a date or something like that. And I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. So eventually I started doing that. And then I was sort of doing it like, I don't know if that's the way she did it, but it became like a intellectual thing with me. Oh, wow, what would have, and well, the beginning, well, in the beginning, I used my post office box in Raymore, Missouri, where I was a reserve police officer. And I think I had the mailbox before I was a reserve officer. So, but so anyway, my son is home, so I may have to. I think I'm going to have to put this on hold. It didn't used to be this way. It used to be that, but now he does a lot of talking and a lot of loud talking, and so, although I think he might have gone into his room. So let's try to continue here. Anyway, so I ran the ad every week or whatever in the Johnson County newspaper. Johnson County is a wealthy area in Kansas, right across from Missouri. And I mean, their classified section, what was it called? Can't remember. But it wasn't, it wasn't something improper or whatever. I mean, it was high class, I guess you could say. So I ran my ad for 5 weeks. And I got the same number. I think it was 5 or 6 replies each when the thing was published. 5 or 6 replies. And all of the women said they were interested in somebody who, ate at McDonald's, liked watching movies on TV, these things. And I thought, that's weird. They all say the same thing. I thought, I wonder. So I used the post office box in Overland Park, Kansas, which is an affluent area of a lot of people. I mean, there's always poor people everywhere, somebody has to be working at McDonald's or Walmart or something. But so I ran an ad for 5 weeks over there with their post office box, at the And then it was the same number of people that responded, like 4 or 5. Okay, that maybe I forgot to mention that because I mentioned 5 weeks or something. There'd be 4 or 5 people each week that would respond. In the first 5 weeks or whatever, they were interested in McDonald's and watching a movie on a VCR. You don't even know what a VCR is, and probably anyway. And then when I put the same ad, you know, and ran it out in same ad, except for the box that you responded to. And then I got, I love fine dining and opera and ballet, and then I saw, okay. And so that's sort of the way I kind of did that. It was kind of like a learning thing. I was asking questions, and some of the women were too. Some of the women that I, would meet or whatever, we'd have the Tomorrow's Friend newspaper, thing, and we'd flip through, and the woman would say, and this is honest, this really happened, I'm not sure if the same woman, I think it was, and she said, okay, see this guy here, because you have your whatever your username or something. Okay, he told me that, she said, I asked him what kind of car he had, and he had I forget, let's say Mercedes, or something like that, and it showed up with a 1955 Chevrolet or something, or a Ford Falcon or something. And she said, where's your car? And he said, oh, it's in the garage. So I had to use this one. And we laughed about that. And then there was, I'm not sure if it was the same lady or not, she said, now this guy here, she said, I said that I like, tall men. And he said, oh, I'm 6'1" or 6'2", something like that. I said, oh, tell me. Don't. She said, yep. He showed up and he was like 5'8" or something like that. And I said, I can't believe that. She said, yep. So there was that kind of stuff going on, and it was kind of like a learning. Then some of the women, because they were having to write, some of the women said, Jim, you should put your phone number in. And I said, a woman's not going to call. Oh, yeah, we would prefer to do that. So I put that phone number in. I got a phone line just for that. Hooked up a telephone answering machine just for that. And I've told some of the stories, but it was all a learning thing. Oh, okay, that's what I was heading for. And then I can stop, I think. So there's one, well, there was a couple of times that happened, I think 3 times, where, a woman called me up or whatever, and she said, what kind of work do you do? And I said, I'm a security officer at a hospital. And she goes, what? And I said, why? Do you work at a hospital? And she said, yes. It had to happen like 3 times. Anyway, this one, a real nice lady, by the way. At this point, I wasn't a bad person. I've never been a bad person. Of course, who am I to judge, But, because an awful lot of these women said, like when we were arranging to, I talked to them on the phone a few times. And I insisted on that. I want to talk a few times on the phone. And then I would say, okay, let's meet. And they'd say, well, let's meet at such and such a shopping mall or whatever. And then the woman would say, now when you show up and you see me, you're not going to... I said, no, I would not do that. No way would I do. Somebody would do that? And she says, yeah. But anyway, so I met this one woman who worked in the same hospital that I did. And she was a pain management nurse, I think. And I was a security officer. And she also she owned a bunch of property that she rented out. She had what was it? Not a townhouse. What would it be? Anyway, a nice place. I was living in a trailer. I was a security guard, And so anyway, so we had sex. And then I forget what she said. But I said, and I would never have said, I said something to imply, or, I forget what I said. It was intended to be funny and hilarious. Now, if, I thought she would go, oh yeah, ha ha, whatever. So I said something, like, oh, well, and I can't remember what it was. I'll have to make something up. Well, I guess you don't, and this, I would never have said this, but I guess you don't see penises that big very often. Now, that's not what I said, because I wouldn't have said that. But I said something, like that. And she laughed, and she said, oh, you men, she said, always worried about something like that. And she said, let me get a 40, she had a 45 RPM. Okay, you guys don't know what a 45 RPM is. If I did, oh, you young whippersnappers, god damn. So anyway, and it was a song, I forget what it was, but making fun of some guy who thinks he has a big penis or something like that. And I didn't say, hey, I was just joking. Hey, I would not have said, something like that. But anyway, and I just let her think that. So I think that's the day then I left her place and I brought my uniform with me and my gun and everything I needed, because I left her place in the morning and headed to work. She worked evenings, I think. So I remember too, I think that's the time I'm going down, Now, I didn't exceed speed limits, or even when I was, a reserve police officer or anything like that. I didn't, I didn't do that kind of stuff. But I was going above the speed limit. I think a lot of people were. Kansas City was, my uniform was hanging up in the window, the car window. Officer pulled up, and then I slowed it down, So then I got to work, and it was a large department, 25 security officers, not at the same time. That was for 3 shifts. And I got there, and the other guy, I guess the other guys knew. I didn't tell anybody anything. But I guess they could tell, because I could tell when 2 people come in together, which that wasn't happening, but, they drive in at the same time, 2 different cars, male and female, or stuff like that. So, and, all of a sudden I started having to change, getting to the uniform at work and stuff. So anyway, go in, the other shift's going off, and the other shift's coming on. And the other shift said, and they said, there's this guy up there that's, and there's nothing that, nothing bad up there, no, well, they didn't say this, but, no fighting, no mental patient, no. There's just a guy up there, he's expired, died. And then they said, oh, Jim, that's going to be you one of these days, the way you're going. And I said, what do you mean? Well, this guy had a heart attack, and he was, with his girlfriend having sex, and he died, and that's going to be you. And I said, well, I forget how old I was. Let's say, well, I'm 35 years old. Maybe I was 40. Let's see. No, I don't think so. Anyway, I said, well, I'm 35 years old. And they said, he's 25. I said, you're what? Yeah. Not with his, not with his wife, with somebody else. So, how long has this been? Oh, that's frames per second. I thought, God, damn, 60 minutes. No, it's 18 minutes, 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop this here. Thank you very much for... Oh, there's more. I've talked about that in the past. I wish I could... I talked about the classified love and other things like that in the videos someplace. I ought to go through and cut those things out. That'd be a lot of work, though, and I don't want to do it. And then put them on their own subject. So, but I don't do that. But I need to try to organize things better. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.